What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I do these 10,000 steps today. Over here in Midtown, get around. I'm over here by the Horace H. Rackham Educational Memorial. I don't know if you guys can see this all that well behind me. You know, it's another one of these historic buildings over here that have been around forever, been around long before me, will be around long after me. And that's one of the reasons why I love walking in this area so much, because the buildings, the architecture of the buildings is just like, I love it. They literally don't make stuff like this no more. So I enjoy coming over here just to soak it all in. There's plenty of modern architecture around here because, you know, Detroit has went through an enormous resurrection, an enormous gentrification, especially, where we got a lot of, in this area, a lot of very high-end luxury living. We got apartments, we got townhomes, we got lofts. It's a lot. This area has become very expensive, and you know, I mean, that's just what happens with gentrification, right? But they not getting rid of your boy. I decide when I leave somewhere, you're not gonna price me out. I'm a hustler, I'm a grinder. I'm gonna always move how I want to move. I'm gonna live where I want to live, and when I move, it's gonna be because I'm choosing to move somewhere else. But I love being here in this downtown area, so I'm not intending on leaving anytime soon. Some people won't be able to afford to stay here, though. Some people already can't afford to stay here. The prices have already, you know, gotten to a point to where they can't afford to stay, and they're going to become higher. If you own real estate over here already and been sitting on it, man, I can only imagine. If only I was in the position to buy these condos up the street years ago. I mean, I was in my early 20s. A lot of the stuff that's over here now wasn't over here, and had I been financially in the situation to get those back when they were like 200,000, those things are easily 800 up. I kid you not, they're easily 800 up, because just some of the apartments over there, depending on what building it's in, fetch that. So yeah, the downtown has made an enormous comeback. It's underwent a bit of a renaissance. All that stuff, that down and out stuff that people be trying to show y'all on TV, that's not how this city is. This has not been the case for us for a while. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some places that still look like that, but every place has that. Gone are the days where the majority of Detroit look like that. It's I'd say maybe like a third of Detroit still looks like that. But again, that's like every city. You're gonna find areas like that, because if you can't afford to live in the areas like this, that's ultimately where you're gonna end up at. But man, let me get into the topic of this video, man. Shout out to my new subscribers. Shout out to my subscribers that have been here. I appreciate you both. New subscribers, y'all helping me get to the count of 5,000. My OG subscribers, man, y'all continue to support me, and that's always appreciated. I'm always gonna have love for y'all, man, because some of y'all literally been here since I started doing this, and that is crazy that y'all stuck with me like that. But let's talk about, now that we into it, some of these car notes, man. I'm seeing some really crazy stuff. Now, I'm hoping that these are just trolls and not real, but I've been seeing a lot of videos and clips of people getting car notes like $0 down, $500 a month, for like 400, 500 something months. And I'm just like, wait a minute. One of them, I did the math, and the note was for like 27 or 28 years, and was like $160,000 or something like that over the course of the years. And that's not even counting what is it, interest? That's just if they just are making the straight payments. I didn't calculate interest because I don't know what their specific interest rate is, because it changes based on certain factors, credit score and just down payment. But if you got a bad credit score and a $0 payment, they really about to get you. So I keep seeing stuff like that. I cannot imagine signing a car note that's for going on 27, 28, 30 years. That is a house. That's what you spend on a house. That is the duration that you're paying on a house. So paying that for a car is crazy, man. I don't know if y'all have seen these too, but I've been seeing quite a few of them lately, and it be for cars that ain't even nothing. It'd be like a Equinox. What's another one? An Accord. These be very low end to average vehicles. These don't be no high end things. That's what makes me wonder, are these real? Because surely no one can be that foolish, right? Maybe they are, but I want to believe no one's that foolish to sign up for something like that. But it makes me wonder, because I talked to y'all before about people's vehicles keeping them poor, about how we got people around here buying Chargers and Challengers, paying $800, $900, $1,000 a month on their note, and they can't even afford to drive it because they can't afford gas. They go and work in a job they hate, and ultimately they busting their ass just to be able to look out the window and see the car in the driveway because they can't afford to drive it. After paying that $1,000 for the month, think about that. $1,000 just for your car, man. That's insane. But after they done paid that $1,000, they can't afford to make that insurance payment, and they can't afford to keep fuel in it. Because, it, depending on what it is, if they get, they all want the Hellcat or Scat Pat. And, those really don't sip gas. They very much drink gas. So might cost you like $80 to fill that thing up, and then a day and a half, 2 days later, you filling it up again. If they getting more mileage out of it than that, more fuel economy out of it than that, is because they literally only driving it to and from work. So they going through all this just to be able to show off to the people they work with, the same dead-end job. Look what I got, basically. That's something that us black folks got really bad. We have a huge problem with showing out in front of broke people. We'll be broke ourselves, and we're desperately trying to not appear broke in front of other broke people. True freaking story. If you think about it, you've either done this or people who've done this. I've done this myself. I mentioned how before, when I was in high school, we were all dirt poor, spending all our money on designer clothes and stuff, trying to not look poor. It wasn't until I was removed from that environment that I realized how silly that was, that we were all dirt poor. That's why we were going to that school. We were all dirt poor, and we're spending all of our money on this expensive designer stuff to not look poor in front of other poor people, when we're all freaking poor, including the people that's dropping all of their paycheck. You guys know I was saving up to buy an iceberg sweater, and Usher just came in there and just bought it. Usher was in town. He came in there and just bought it. This was me trying not to look poor in front of other poor people. I was saving up paycheck after paycheck trying to buy an expensive iceberg sweater. And Usher in town, he slid into the store at Fairlane Mall and just bought that motherfucker. I had never knew what happened to that damn sweater until recently. A guy typed in my comments that he took a picture with Usher wearing that sweater. And I went and Googled Usher, Eminem, iceberg. And no. I typed in Usher, Eminem, 90s. And a picture of the two of them came up, and he was wearing that damn sweater. I literally found this out recently. So from when that happened, the late 90s to now, I never knew what had happened to that sweater. I thought the sweater just disappeared, that he never wore it or something like that. But yeah, he wore it later on that evening to some event. And I think that's where he met Eminem for the first time. Something to that effect. But I didn't realize this at the time. Usher saved me from making a very stupid mistake. I could not afford that sweater. That's why I'm saving up to buy it. I can't afford it. I understand this mentality now, but back then I'm just a teenager. I don't get it. The fact that he was able to just go in there and just buy it and not think nothing of it, wear it maybe that one time and then give it away to somebody in his family or something like that. He's in a position to do that. I was not. I shouldn't have been saving up to buy stuff like that. If you can't just cash stuff out, and I say this when it comes to cars too, if you can't just cash it out, you can't afford it. Not being able to afford stuff is how you end up with these ridiculous car notes and how you end up with these ridiculous year terms. Now, those videos, I don't know if they're for real or not. They could be fake. But the fact that I wonder if they're fake, that's a problem in itself, because I see the way people do when they can't afford something. They are willing to go broke and leverage all their future earnings just to be seen with something today. If you got to save up to get something, then save up to get it, because not everybody just got money to cash out a car sitting around. So if you got to save up to buy a car, that's fine. That's totally understandable. That is reasonable. But save up to get that motherfucker so you can just cash it out. It feels good to cash it out rather than, oh, I'm driving off the lot with it today, but I'm gonna be stuck paying for the thing for the next 4 or 5 years. And that time you've bought that car 2.5, possibly 3 times. So yeah, if you can't cash something out, you can't afford it. The only thing that I'm like, I give the exception when it's higher ticket items like a car or a house, something like that. Nobody expects a regular person to just cash out a house. I mean, that might happen somewhere, but they've been saving up like crazy for years if they are able to do that. Cashing out a car, it's in your interest to just cash out a car. You know, you guys, rather than getting what you can afford, you get what you want. And what you want usually is something beyond what you really can afford. But you got to have it now because you want to show off for other people, and that's the problem. You're buying it not so much for yourself as you are just to be able to show off in front of other people. But ultimately, they don't care. They do not care. They see you pull up in it. They hating anyway. They don't really care that you got that shit. So why even do it? But I'm going to leave it there, y'all. Appreciate y'all connecting with me. I'm going to keep stepping, and I'm going to holler at y'all.